subordinating clauses that are not finite. Yes, so I have a main clause and a subordinating clause. Is that a complex sentence or just a simple sentence?
No. Non-finite clauses will not affect the type of sentence that you have. Meaning, the sentence in general will be simple unless you have some other subordinate clause, which happens to be finite.
That has to be finite. Okay. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Why is that? Because there are some features that are not expressed in the non-finite subordinate clause. Okay, right?
Sorry, in that example that provided Flavia, the student of physics, so of physics would be a post modifier in that case?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. What else? Anything else?
I would like to expand on an accusative and a negative verbs, because it's kind of difficult for me.
Is it? Well, but again, you know what? In that part we will have to deal with in the second part of the year. Okay? Meaning for the time being, let's say, intransitive verbs, you will consider them just intransitive. Okay? And we will not go directly into the differentiation between the accusatives and the negatives. Okay? Right? When we see something else in the genitive framework, we will see that there exists a difference in how they are derived. Okay, meaning the arguments generate in different positions. Okay, but here we'll consider them the same way. Okay, don't worry that much about them for the time being. Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Jose, in the first assignment, I wrote that eventually was an adverbial action of time, but you told me that it's just an it's just an action of time. Why not an adverbial?
Okay, who can answer that? Come on.
Because adverbial agents of time are prepositional phrases, and agents of time are whatever, I mean, anything that it's not a prepositional phrasal, phrase.
Yes.
Okay.
Agent or whatever, a verbal agent or whatever must be a PP. Okay? Otherwise, whatever other category, okay, just agent or whatever. Okay? Right? Any other thing? Or shall we start to correct the extracts then? Well, let's start with the correction then. But feel free to interrupt me at all times, you know. Well, from extract 2, we have to correct what sentences? From what sentence?
From my brother Luke.
From the very beginning?
Oh, yes.
Okay, fine. So, let's start there. Well, the very first sentence, what type is that one?
Complex.
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 Yes. Okay. The subject of which is my brother look. Okay, which is a noun phrase. And all the rest is the predicable phrase. Okay. Within the subject, the head noun is?
Brother.
Yes. And what about look? What is look?
A
Apposition.
restrictive apposition.
Restrictive apposition, yes. You make a point of the restrictive versus non-restrictive apposition, which is a noun. Okay? The easy way out would be like, yes, commas, non-restrictive, no commas, restrictive. Okay? Right? Now, in the predicates, within the predicate, the head of the predicate is
Pay.
Did pay.
I did pay.
did
pay.
pay.
Didn't pay.
We need to leave aside the and, which is the accent of negation alpha. Okay?
Okay.
Now, did is the auxiliary for the
Past tense.
no. No, why not? Why is it that we insert this did here?
It's dummy or
Okay, but why is it that we insert this did?
To insert the negative.
Okay, so it's an auxiliary for negation. If it were for the past, we would have said paid. Okay, no need to have an auxiliary at all. Okay, so the problem is that we cannot say in English, my brother look, not paid attention to whatever. Okay.
Sorry,
So-
sir. A question. And if it was,
Yes.
for example, one did using the affirmative to like emphasize, but I did tell you. What
So
sort of
auxiliary for the
auxiliary?
emphasis. So do, just, and did are the auxiliaries that can be for three different things. For the emphasis, for the interrogative, or for the negative. Okay? All right? Meaning, you see, the point is, why is it that in the sentence that Marielle suggested, okay, you resort to did for the emphasis. Okay? Right? Mean, this is in opposition to I didn't do whatever. No, yes, I did do whatever. Okay? Right? So this is an auxiliary for the negation. Remember auxiliaries, please, in lowercase letters. Okay? I mean, you are not going to write down such a thing as auxiliary for the negation. Okay, because in that way, I will consider this to be wrong. Okay, because auxiliary is a category. Okay, so no function at all. Okay. Now, the other problem is what kind of verb is pay? Pay is the head of the verbal group. Okay, here I've forgotten to say head verbal group. Okay, and pay is the head of the verbal group. And what kind of verb is this one?
Ditransitive.
transitive.
Ditransitive. So much so that you can say, pay attention to something. You know, this is, you know, one test that you can apply for the indirect object, okay? Whenever you have the indirect object and the direct object, very frequently you can alternate within them. Okay? For example, you can say, yes?
The verbal group is didn't pay.
No, did pay. Did pay. The int is
Ah,
outside.
okay.
The verbal group is the head of the predicate. Okay? Within the predicate, pay is the head of the verbal group. Okay? If we don't have auxiliaries, no verbal group. Directly head TV, head ITV, head IV. Okay? Right? Now, I was saying, something. Oh, why does it appear like this? Well, so this one. Sorry. Well, never mind. Now, there exist some verbs that are called, from the point of view of their meaning, light verbs. Okay? Now, the question is, what is a light verb? A light verb is a verb which carries no meaning, devoid of meaning. Very frequently is one verb that you insert for a specific collocation, for a specific, type of construction.
So is it a light verb?
Light, not unlight.
Okay.
No, light, because it, for example, if I tell you, Jack, a suggestion. Now, what is the verb there?
Made.
Okay. You see, how can you infer what I meant to say? You all went for made or makes or whatever, okay? Well, but the one that collocates with a suggestion is made, okay? Compare with some other verb, let's say, imagine that I tell you, Jack, a book. Here you can have sold, bought, stole, found, lost, I don't know, way too many things. Okay? Right? So we don't know what the verb that you missed there was. Okay? If you happen to miss that verb. Understand what I mean? So, a light verb is the one that you will be able to provide, okay, in a specific context. Can you think of any other one?
Drive crazy or something like that.
Okay, yes.
Because the meaning is in crazy.
Absolutely, that's the point. That's the point. Okay, another one.
Pay respects.
Which one again? Sorry.
Pay respects.
Okay, pay due respect. Yes, exactly. Okay, yes. Another one.
Become can be.
No, become is always copulative. No.
Okay. And what's the difference? Because I thought that copular and like were the same.
No. No, not the same. No. Copulative is a syntactic classification. We will write down here, for example, imagine that you have, he became the president. Okay, became copulative verb. Okay, light verb, you won't write it down here in the syntax. Okay, no. The point is that it will have a say in something else that we are going to explain right now, which is the following. Very frequently, these are very frequent verbs such as come, go, drive, put, pay, play, take, bring, well, etc., etc., etc. Okay, these are very frequent verbs. Okay, now, very frequently as well, when they're used as light verbs, they tend to change the category of the verb. Okay, for example, the typical meaning of pay, okay, has to do with money, right? Okay, this is the first entry for pay. But pay attention to somebody or pay something attention, okay, right, now becomes a dative. Okay.
Even
Lisa?
though, sorry,
Yes.
sir, even though one is not, how would you say, se me fue la palabra. Even though one is not in the sentence explicitly.
What you mean? I don't get
If
you.
I said, I need you to pay attention.
No. We will have to stick to what we have there. Yes, exactly. Yes. Because, for example, now that you mentioned that, if you do write down dative, you need to have an IO, unless the recipient becomes the subject of a passive construction. Okay? Yes, but if you don't have it, I mean, the same holds true for, let's say, okay? Typically it's a dative, but if you say, he said something stupid, okay? Well, so there is not intended recipient there, okay? So TV, okay?
So, very sorry, but in the sentence, where is the indirect object of the
This
sentence
one.
that we are seeing?
To my suggestion that he should study hard to achieve what he desired. Okay? So pay attention, all of this. This is rather longish. Okay, that's why necessarily needs to be postponed. But imagine in some other context, for example, he didn't pay attention to my words. You can very well say he didn't pay my words attention. Okay, right? So some of the tests that you can apply is that very frequently both the direct object and the indirect object can alternate with each other. Right? Okay. Well, anyway, then pay here becomes a dative.
But is it a light verb in this case? No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, pay in
Yes,
this case.
pay.
Yes, yes, pay is a light verb. Yes.
But I don't get why pay is light verbs if attention is the direct object. Because before we said pay respect or whatever, and then the verb was not the one carrying meaning.
The one does not carry semantic meaning, but it does carry syntactic meaning, which is a different thing.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so here you write down the part of the syntax. Okay, and the semantics will help you recognize what kind of verb or what kind of construction you have there. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the IO, which is a PP, okay, within which, as you very well know, you'll have to divide it into head preposition, and the rest is the object to the preposition, which is a noun phrase. Okay? Now, within the noun phrase, suggestion is the head noun. My is a premodified determinant. Okay? And what is that he should study harder to achieve what he desired.
Here is where I got confused if that was a restrictive,
yes, restrictive
apposition,
yes,
or a noun complement. Because I had seen that my suggestion that was always a noun complement. So that's where I got confused.
No, but I insist, in the traditional framework, do away with noun complement. Okay? Yes, so this is an apposition. This is an apposition. It's a restrictive apposition. Okay? Here, this is a restrictive apposition, which is what category?
That noun clause.
That noun clause. That noun clause. With, of course, and the brackets. Okay? Then I will have to make a point of this type of apposition. Okay? When we finish this extract, probably I'll have to go back to this one. Okay? Well, why is an apposition? Because this is the same as the suggestion. Okay? Right? Then, within the apposition, then that is the subordinating conjunction. The rest is divided into subject and predicate. Okay. The subject is he, pronominal phrase, head pronoun. Okay. And the rest is the predicate verbal phrase. Can you follow? Yes? Then, within this other predicate, should study is the head verbal group. Within which should is the auxiliary for the
I wrote modal auxiliary.
Yes, modality. Yes, modality, auxiliary for the modality or modal auxiliary is the same, okay? As long as it is with lowercase letters, okay? It's exactly the same, okay? Now, what about study? What kind of verb is this one here?
Jose,
intransitive.
the indirect object and object to preposition, it follows, goes to the end.
Yes, yes, way up to the end. Yes, right. Yeah, I'm missing, something. Okay. Okay. Yes. Now, study in general. What kind of verb is study?
Intransitive.
Intransitive.
Intransitive. Why?
It depends on the context.
Uh-huh.
You study a subject, or you are studying while whatever.
Okay, probably I can buy what you're saying. Then IB. Yeah. In this case, IB. Okay. Well, then, what about harder?
Change of manner.
Yes. Which is what category?
Adverb.
Yes. And what is to achieve what he desired? Well, they won't have room enough here for this.
Adverbial
Adjunct of purpose.
Agent of purpose, not a verbal adjunct. Okay, it's not a PP. Okay, it's not a PP. So it's an agent of purpose. Okay, what category?
Infinitival clause.
Infinitival clause. Yes.
Is it necessary to write full infinitival clause, or it's the same?
Now, full, you take for granted, as opposed to the pair one. Okay. Most of the infinitival clauses are full infinitival clauses. Okay. So you can just say infinitival clause. Let me probably write it down here, because otherwise, to achieve what he desired. Okay, all of this is the agent of purpose, which is an infinitival clause, no one brackets or anything. If it is an infinitival clause, we need to divide it into subject and predicate. The subject here is
pro.
Yes. It's an empty category. Pro coined with my
The
brother.
subject of the,
Yes.
with he, let's say.
With he, yes, my brother, whoever, yes. Okay, right? We need to write down this I. Someone else as well. And I think it was my brother, okay? Or he, never mind. But now, careful with this. Immediately, once you've written down subject, empty category, pro, all the rest will be the predicate for a phrase. Okay? Within this predicate, the head of this predicate is to achieve, which is the verbal group. Okay? Then this to is the infinitival marker. This is the word that has been given way too many names. Okay? For example, what have you called it? This two.
Infinitival particle.
Okay. Pretty much the same. No problem.
What's the meaning of I am?
Infinitival marker.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is it a
Okay.
category? Capital
It is
letters?
a category. Yes. Here we got to the exceptions, okay, or to one of the exceptions, because we said that the category should appear in lowercase letters, right? Okay, but this one we will identify for some reason which will be kind of clearer a bit later, in capital letters. Okay.
From now on, we have to write I am, or can we still write down infinitival particles?
Well, that doesn't make much of a difference, okay? For me, it's even shorter to write down I am, just that, okay? But it's the same, okay?
And infinitival clause, we go with infl or we go with IC as the book?
That's the same. That's up to you.
The same. Okay.
Yes, that's up to you. Yes, exactly. That's up to you. Okay. Right? Well, then, achieve is the head of the verbal group and is a
Transitive.
Transitive verb.
then again, if you write down TV or GRB, no problem. Okay. Right? Well, then we need to have a direct object, which is
What he desired.
he desired. And this, is it a phrase or a clause?
It's a clause.
A clause.
Free relative.
What kind of clause?
Free relative clause.
Well, not exactly. It's not a free relative. Okay, careful with that.
Focus, noun clause.
Yes, it's a WH focused noun clause. Okay. Well, with angular brackets, of course.
But are you stressing what? To achieve what you want?
Definitely.
What you say?
Yes, to achieve what he desires. Yes, definitely. Yes, exactly. Yes. In this
Why
case,
is it a focus noun clause?
because precisely this what can attract the stress. Okay? If it can attract the stress, okay, it will be a WH focused noun clause.
Because I would say to achieve what he desired, but I wouldn't stress so much what.
No, but precisely this you tend to make a point. What was the sentence like? Let me see. Let me go back to it.
You're not paraphrasing a question. You're not paraphrasing a question. And it's not modifying it's occupying a nominal position. And not only that, you're not modifying a noun.
I don't get it. Because focus has to do with questions. And
Yes.
with stress.
Not necessarily. No. Focus has to do with stress, not necessarily questions. For example, imagine that I tell you, I know where you work. Would you stress this word or not?
No.
Yes.
Because I know where you work.
Is it about implicit information?
Not
like it's not being said, but you know it.
No, but the point is the following. Let me put it this way. all of the WH words, let's say where, when, why, how much, how long, how far, let's say, well, what, wait, how many, well, etc., etc., etc. Okay, can be translated into two different ways. Okay, if you think of them in Spanish, let's say you have okay, let's say the A version and the B version. Let me tell you a couple of sentences in English, and you will tell me what translation you prefer, the A version or the B version. Okay, right? For example, if I tell you, say, where you put my phone is a dirty place.
B.
Compare with, I know where you put my phone.
A.
A.
Yes. She asked me when the exam was.
A.
A.
She told me when the exam was.
B.
Still A. That is not a question. And still A. Okay. Compare with, I don't know.
Jose, is it the same term, WH focused, as free relative?
No, the problem is that free relative involves both of them. Free relatives implies that there is no such an antecedent. Okay?
Okay, yes.
That's why, in some cases, you call them free relatives. But free relative is kind of an umbrella term for all of them. Okay? The point is that if you go for the A version, we will write down WH focused noun clause. If we go for the B version, we'll write down nominal relative noun clause or nominal relative clause if you want. I tend to write down even the N so as to make the difference. Okay? And the problem is that the free relative, involves all of them, because free means that you don't have an antecedent for that kind of clause. Okay? For example, if you say, the place where you put my phone was dirty, that is a relative clause which does have an antecedent. Okay? If you do away with the place, we'll have one of these two. Okay? Can you follow? So, in a way, within the noun clauses, we will consider how many types.
that noun clauses,
Four types.
Yes.
noun relative, no,
Yes.
noun relative, noun clauses,
Nominal relative. Nominal relative. Noun clauses and WH focused. Noun clauses. Okay. These appear in chapter 7 in the book. Okay, right? The difference between them is that, let's say, the ones on top are introduced by that or whether or if, which is a subordinating conjunction within the clause. Okay, and in this other case, we won't have a subordinating conjunction introduced in the clause, meaning the WH word will have a function within the clause. Okay, right?
Sorry, I don't get it in this example, because to me, I would translate into to achieve lo que deseaba, the thing that he desired. So to me, it was a
Good
nominal
point.
relative clause.
Good point. I expected you to say that. Yes. But this thing, you know, most here or there.
Can you provide another example of be?
Of?
Be, cuando with sin el acento, digamos.
The B type or the B type.
Yes.
For example, let's say, when you told me the news was a dark day. Or was a rainy day.
Okay.
Okay. So in that case, you have a nominal relative noun clause. Okay. Now, somebody was saying, you know, the problem is, you know what, precisely in the what clauses. Okay. Because the what clauses are very tricky. Why? Because they can be neutralized in Spanish in some way. I mean, this one with the A, right? The one with the stress with the A. Okay, well, you know, the problem is that both of them typically are pronominalized in this other way. Okay, so if you go for this other translation, okay, which is the typical thing for you to do, okay, I mean, this is fine, no problem, but you know what? Try to avoid this neutral pronoun there, okay, and see whether the version that you have is this one or this one. Compare, for example, these two sentences. Let's say, I know what you think. Will that be A or B?
A.
Yes. As opposed to, what you think is none of my business.
B. It's not stressed.
Absolutely.
Not stressed.
Okay. The problem is that you could have, you could have translated either of these two sentences in this neuter way. Okay, so of course, in Spanish you can do whatever you want to, but think of, either one of these two without this neuter pronoun.
What was the example B that you provided?
Oh, I don't remember. What did I say?
What you think is none
What
of my
you think
business.
is,
It's none of my business.
Thank you.
Okay, right? So in this other
But
case,
in that case,
if you do
you
a
would, sorry.
with this problem. Sorry, I lost you. I don't know whether it was my connection or your connection.
I think it's yours.
It's yours.
Ouch.
But you return.
Yes, okay, tell me. Well,
No,
let me
that
see
in
whether...
the translation.
Tell me.
In that case, the translation, I don't recall the example, but you say lo que as a subject. You don't say que as a subject in the translation.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right.
So it's quite
confusing.
It's quite confusing because you don't
No,
know.
but the problem is that you cannot take this. No, but the point is that you cannot go for this one. Meaning, in the B type, in the nominal relative noun clause, you cannot go for this one. Okay? It's impossible that you go for the A version. Okay?
So the B version would be que or lo que, both of them.
Whenever you cannot go for the stress que. Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Whenever this other version is impossible. Okay? Right? This is the point. Of course, if you have, typically questions or typically, something that is necessarily emphatic because it's something kind of surprising, etc. Okay? Well, it will be kind of clearer. But in some other cases, still, you need to think of the stress version, whether you can stress that or not. Okay, and these are the tricky types of clauses, I would say.
Sorry, I see your point when it comes to verbs of communication and verbs of knowledge, but I don't see it in this example with achieve.
Well, because precisely the focus of this clause is that I, let's say, suggested that he should study or make an effort to achieve something. Oops. This what? Okay. Yes, I know that this is kind of a bit too difficult in some cases, and this is the one case in which I would say this is a bit too difficult. Okay. So with some training, you will get it. Okay, what can I tell you? Okay. Well, okay. Well, what we then within the what is it called? And it's disappeared altogether. Never mind. Well, within the WH focus noun clause, we need to divide into subject and predicate. The subject is he, pronominal phrase, pronoun, all the rest is the, including what is the predicate of a phrase, desired is the head of the predicate, which is a TV, and what is a GO of desired, which in this case is a WH focus pronoun. Okay?
Sorry, can you go over again that last part within the WH focus noun clause?
Okay, within this one. Oops, let me see. Come on. Within this one, what he desired, okay? Desired. This is the subject. Pronominal phrase, head pronoun. And then the rest, including what, is the predicate of a phrase. Head TV, and this is a GO for this TV, and is a WH focused pronoun. By the way, now that we mentioned this, let's mention one more thing.
Sorry, so we write pronoun phrase to the subject and then head pronoun because I think, or
Yes.
just pronoun.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Why? Okay. Why? Because the subject must be either a phrase or a clause. Okay? The categories for the subject, you have 5 possibilities: noun phrase, pronominal phrase, noun clause, infinitival clause, or gerundial clause. Okay? Right? The subject is always either a phrase or a clause. Within this phrase, okay, if it happens to be a phrase, I mean, okay, you write down head pronoun or head noun. I remember. As for the category of the WH word, it can be one of 3 possibilities, or 6 if you want to. WH word, depending on the context, mind you. Okay? It will be either a pronoun, an adverb.
Desired is a transitive verb, or no?
Sorry, yes. TV, yes, TV, yes. That's why it requires a GO. Yes.
Yes. And what is the direct object?
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, so far so good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably what I will do is, because we've got too many things here.
Let
me do.
Ahí en las categorías de WH, please, que no llegue a copiar. Pronoun.
Pronoun, adverb, or determiner? Adverb when it works as an adjunct only. determiner when it works as a
adjective, something, an adjective.
So what is the function then?
Pre-modifier. No.
Pre-modifier, yes. Yes, pre-modifier. What house, what assignment, which pen, whose car. Okay? Yes, that's a pre-modifier. The least frequent, to tell you the truth. And pronoun whenever it's got a nominal function. Okay? Right? Well, let's pass on to the other one. Here there will be a couple of things that I will be interested in. Now, in the following sentence you have, but what he found difficult was to concentrate in class after the events he had gone through. Okay? Well, type of sentence?
Complex.
Complex.
Yes. I made a mistake, sorry. I was about to write down complex. What was my mistake? Come on, who can tell me?
The clause should be from what?
From what?
Yes, yes. This but in initial position of a sentence is the so-called conjunct. Okay? Is the one that is joining this sentence to the previous one. Okay?
So there's no need then to put ACC like we usually do.
No. Precisely, that is not an, and by the way, not ACC, eventually adversative ATV, but don't just, go for ACC. But no, this is not precisely not an adversative coordinating conjunction. Okay, within a phrase or within a clause, it will be adversative. But here, this is joining this sentence to the previous one. In a way, probably I should go for something that is called predication. What is predication, let's say?
I think it's come from to predicate, to say something about someone or something.
There is a connection, but not there is a one-to-one relationship. Okay? Let me tell you one sentence, one kind of longish sentence. Think of the following. I don't know, let me see. I don't have that many examples today, but let's say, when she told me the news, I was painting my house. Okay? Well, choose the one word, only one word in that sentence, which is the most important there.
Painting.
Yes, exactly. Typically, the main verb will be the one that gives you the predication. Predication has to do, is a semantic term actually. okay, is the one that gives the meaning to the rest of the sentence, to all of the sentence. Okay. Let's say, for example, if I tell you, last week I bought several things that I thought were cheap, but ended up being too expensive. The predication there is
expensive.
Buy.
Buy.
Does it has to do with the semantic analysis we did in grammar one, for
Semantic,
example?
yes, semantically speaking, yes,
Oh,
precisely.
okay.
Yes, yes, exactly. Predication has to do with a semantic analysis. Yes, that's right. Okay. Now, for example, compare with this other one. When she told me the news, I was very happy.
Tell. Happy.
Happy.
Yes, yes, happy. Okay, yes. Not was. Was is the main verb there in the sentence, but was is dummy. So the predication lies in happy. Okay, now, if we go within the subordinate clause, you remember the subordinate clause of the example that I'm giving you?
Yes.
Repeat the subordinate clause.
When she told me the news.
Fantastic. That's the subordinate clause. Very good. Okay. Now, what is the predicator there? Where does the predication lie in that clause?
Tell.
Tell.
Yes. Now, tell selects the one who tells, who receives, what somebody said, okay, and what this person said. Meaning it selects three arguments. The predication in that clause is, she told me the news. Meaning this when lies outside the predication. That's why precisely in this sentence here, okay, for example, when she told me, well, I will write down that, which is kind of short down. When she told me that, I was happy. Let me give you another one. Let's say she said that he had died, something kind of short. Okay, poor thing. Well, no connection between the two sentences, mind you, okay? Meaning I was not happy because, I don't know, he had died, okay? So they're just examples. I was trying to find something kind of short, very short. That's why, I ended up saying died, okay? Well, now, look at this. In this sentence, both sentences are complex ones, okay? You have a subordinate clause here, okay? And in the second example, you have the main clause that covers everything, And this is the subordinate clause. Shall we? Now, let's think of the analysis of the subordinate clause. Let's go for the analysis of the subordinate clauses. In the subordinate clauses, you know, the predication of the subordinate clause in the first example is, she told me that, meaning she told me something. This is what this subordinate clause is telling us. In the subordinate clause of the second example, the predication is, he had died. In a way, what I want you to understand is that this when is a subordinating conjunction. That's why it has got no function within the clause. This is the subject and this is the predicate of the clause. The subordinating conjunction is just a connector that gives you the framework for the whole sentence.
But, sorry.
Give me just a second. The one that connects the subordinate clause to the main one. So this one is not an adjunct of time at all. Okay? And the same thing happens here. This is the subject and this is the predicate. So this is a subordinating conjunction. So in these types of clauses, the subordinate conjunction, okay, in a way, is kind of just joining the subordinate clause to the main one. Okay? Well, somebody was about to say, but come on.
No, you have already answered my question.
Oh.
But why is it that when she told me that isn't an adjunct of time?
Because the predication in this clause is precisely, she told me something.
Yes, but I mean in the whole sentence.
No, of course, in the whole sentence, yes.
Okay, okay. No, okay.
No, but wait a minute. Now,
not the, you were saying about the word when. Yes,
exactly. Yes. Okay. In the subject, if I go for the analysis from the outside to the inside, let's say this is the subject, this is the predicate. Okay. All of the clause is part of the predicate. Meaning this is a copulative verb, have is the subjective complement, and all of this, including this, is what? An adjunct of time of a clause. But look at what happens here. In the case of the adverbial clauses, the same way as the that noun clauses and the whether if noun clauses, they are introduced by a subordinating conjunction. Okay? And this subordinating conjunction does not carry any function within the subject or the predicate in the subordinate clause. Okay? Well, precisely just the opposite happens in the case of the nominal relative noun clauses and the WH-focused noun clauses. Meaning the word there will have a function within the clause. Can you follow? Okay.
Jose, so
yes.
it only happens when it's about an adverbial clause. We consider when a subordinate conjunction within an adverbial clause.
Yes, not within a nominal relative noun clause or a WH focus noun clause. Yes, that's right. Yes, exactly. Okay, right. So I will give you something for you to think. Not going to analyze it today, but I will give you something for you to analyze on your own. Compare these two sentences. Copy these two sentences, analyze them on your own. Okay. Let me think of something. Well, something kind of stupid. I don't know. I knew when, so I knew when I knew when you what can be here?
Traveled.
Okay, I knew when you would travel. So, and compare this with this other one. You were charged when you traveled. Okay, something like that. Okay, well, analyze those two sentences on your own. Okay, and see the differences there. Okay, well, but let's advance. Okay, here, what he found difficult was to concentrate in class after the events he had gone through. Okay, the subject here is?
What he found difficult.
Yes. Oops, difficult. Which is a?
Nominal relative clause.
Yes. Within the brackets. And the rest, of course, is the predicate verbal phrase. Within the subject, he is the subject, pronominal phrase, a pronoun, all the rest is the predicate verbal phrase. Within the predicate, the head of the predicate is?
Found.
Which is a?
Transitive verb.
So we need to have a?
Object.
Direct object.
Which is?
What?
What?
Yes.
What?
Nominal relative pronoun. Nominal relative pronoun. What about difficult?
Objective complement.
Objective complement.
Or
He that was difficult or what? That is difficult.
Objective complement.
Objective
Yeah, I think
complement. It's an objective complement. Difficult is the what, not he.
Can't it be an adjunct or something like that?
No, it can never be an adjunct because adjuncts will never be adjectival. Remember that. Adjunct never ever adjectival.
And
Yes.
what about predicative adjuncts, such as he died poor?
No, but in this case, compare this, for example, in the example that you've mentioned, poor, okay, does not affect the predication.
Yes,
okay?
I understand. No, I understand that, but I thought that you, as you were saying, that no adjectives would be an adjunct.
No, that's a predicative adjunct, precisely.
Okay.
That's why quasi-predicative. Okay?
Adjuncts in general.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. But it's not an adjunct of manner, for sure. Okay? Right?
Okay.
Santiago.
And difficult, couldn't it be a post modifier?
To what?
To the direct object what?
No, the post modifier appears within a constituent. No. Okay? A post modifier will appear within, let's say, either all of it, as a unit in the subject or within a GO, within an object to the preposition. Okay? No. Okay? Yes.
The pre-modifier and the post-modifier both have to be inside the same constituent, right? So that rule, let's say, applies to both of them, post and pre.
Yes. I think that if I understand your question, meaning yes, they appear within a constituent. You can have a pre-modifier without a post-modifier, or a post-modifier without a pre-modifier, mind you. Okay, right? Well, let's pass on to the predicate. Come on. The head of the predicate is?
Was.
Which is a?
Copular verb.
Copulative. Yes. Copular or copulative is exactly the same. Very good. Okay, which needs a?
Subjective complement.
Which is?
To concentrate in class.
The subjective complement is the function that can be virtually any category. Okay? After the verb to be, for example, you can have virtually every possible category. A PP, an adverb, a noun phrase, a pronominal phrase, a clause, etc., etc., etc. Okay? In this case, what is this one?
Infinitival clause?
Yes, infinitival clause. No angular brackets here, okay, but we need to divide it into subject and predicate. The subject here is
Pro.
Pro. Yeah.
an empty category. Pro coincidence with he. Immediately, all the rest is the predicate verbal phrase.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's say the red predicate, the one that is marked here in red, is the predicate of the main clause. The violet predicate is the predicate of the infinitival clause. Okay? Now, within this predicate, sometimes yes. No. Won't work. No. But this predicate. The head of the predicate is
Concentrate.
Concentrate.
to concentrate.
I was about to say to, yeah, to concentrate because it's
sorry.
infinite time.
Verbal group.
Yeah. Verbal group, yeah, exactly. Whenever you have an infinitival, two infinitival, this two is the infinitival marker, which, by the way, is the exception to the rule in the sense that even though it is a category, we write it down in capital letters, okay? Now, concentrate is the head of this predicate and is what kind of verb? The head of this verbal group.
Intransitive.
Intransitive verb.
Yes. Then, in class is the
Adverbial adjunct of place.
yes, PP. Within, you very well know. And what about after the events you have gone through?
Adjunct of
Adjunct of time.
Adverbial
Adjunct of time. Adverbial adjunct.
Verbal adjunct of time, because it's a PP. After it has head preposition. Whenever we have got a head preposition, the rest is the object to the preposition, which is a noun phrase. Okay, events is the head noun. This is a pre-modified determiner. And then we have gone through is a
post modifier.
Post modifier.
I wrote non-restrictive apposition.
No. Non-restrictive apposition needs to be separated with commas. Okay, this is a post modifier, which is what category?
That noun clause.
That noun clause.
No, the post modifier will never ever be that noun clause.
A relative clause. Defining relative clause.
Defining relative.
Defining relative.
Yes. Mariano.
Why? Well, can't it be a restrictive apposition?
No. But now I will need to make a point of this. Okay. Okay. You remember that in the first one, there was something that I wanted to make a point of. Okay.
But there's something in common that has to do with they restrict the noun that they precede. That is the I don't know how to say it, but the post modifier, the defining relative clauses, and the restrictive apposition, they
both give information, necessary information about the antecedent.
They restrict the antecedent.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yes, I know what you mean.
But in one case, it's something that is nominal, and in the other case, it's something that
that's
is
the point.
adjectival.
Have we made the point of this? Have we made the difference between them or not? Have I told you the difference between them? Or not? Okay, let me do it then. So, you know what the problem is with this, with these, let's say, fucking that clauses. Why? Because they can be either of two things. In particular, when they come immediately after an abstract noun. Okay? Such as, let's say, suggestion, idea, fact. Well, you have a whole list in the book, but I mean, the book is not exhaustive. Okay? I mean, you very well know what the abstract nouns are. Okay? Well, careful whenever you have a word like this, an abstract noun, followed by the blah, 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 blah. Because what you will have will be either one of these two things. Either a restrictive apposition, that non-clause, or else a post-modifier defining relative clause. Okay? Right? Careful, because this is something very important that you need to know very well if you want to pass grammar. Okay? All right? Meaning, if you can't tell the difference between a WH focused noun clause and a nominal relative noun clause, I couldn't care less. Okay? Meaning, you can still have got a 10 in your exam. But here, okay, careful with them. By the way, never ever mix them up. Meaning, never ever write down something as restricted apposition and between brackets defining relative clause, or also never ever post-modifier the noun clause. Okay? Remember that very well, make a big notice, okay? Because if I find something like that in an exam, okay, you know, I stop reading, you know? Definitely. Just
Sorry,
that
can I say
thing.
an example to see if I get it or not? Sorry, if I get it or not. Like the idea I said
Okay, okay, go ahead.
okay. That would be
Yeah.
a post modifier defining relative
Okay.
clause. But if I say the idea that we should buy, I don't know, a business was good, that would be a restrictive apposition, right?
Excellent. But the question is why?
Because
Yes, very good.
Could
I'm
you
referring
repeat the second example?
Yes, the idea that we should buy a business was good, let's say. In this example, I'm saying the content of the idea, but in the first one, I'm restricting the scope of reference. I'm saying, well, which idea? The one I said.
Absolutely perfect. Perfectly explained. Yes. Very good. Okay. Did you all get that?
No. Can somebody write it, or should I?
Okay. Okay. But let me see.
In the case of apposition, I can use the verb is in the middle just for a test.
That's one of the tests. So there are a couple of tests that you can go for. Okay. Which are the following. Let's say. Number one. Can we do away with the abstract noun? Idea, suggestion, fact, etc. Noun is a name. One test. And the other test is, can we insert, let's say, the verb to be, is, was, or I don't know, some form of the verb to be, between the abstract noun and the clause? There are some other tests, but with these two, well, true. So, if the answer is yes to both of them, let's say something nominal. If the answer is no to both of them, something adjectival. So, for the good, let me erase. Can I erase all of this and pass on to some examples, the examples that Malena has given us, okay, or any other example? Okay. Ready? Have you copied all of this? Okay, so here are these two examples.
Hey.
Idea that he gave us was great, or the idea that we should read the Bible was great. Okay. In both cases, we're talking about some idea, and that idea was a great one. Okay? Now, in the first case, can I just say a sentence such as, that he gave us was great?
No.
No.
No. Why not? Because that he gave us is not nominal and it cannot work as a subject. So that he gave us is necessarily then a post-modifier defining relative clause. It's identifying in a way what idea he gave us. Because if I just tell you the idea was great, your next question will be, what idea? The one that he gave us. In the other example, can we just say that we should read the Bible, of course with the capital letters it will start, okay? That we should read the Bible was great?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Why is that possible? Because this clause is nominal and then it can work as a subject of the whole clause, and that would be a that noun clause. Now, if we do have the idea that we should read whatever, okay, this means that this is a restrictive apposition to the idea, and it's a then clause. Okay? If we go for the other test, for example, can we say in number 1, the idea was that he gave us?
No.
Definitely not. But in the second case, can we say the idea was that we should read the Bible? Yes. We can. Probably with suggestion it will be better. Okay, a better example. Okay.
Jose, when we insert the verb to be into the sentence, we have to erase what would be the
yes,
phrase.
do away with the other part was great. Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. Okay. Well, is it clear? So, going back to, you remember here we had the suggestion that he should study harder. Now, that we could have done away with the abstract noun suggestion. That's why that he should study harder to achieve what he desired is a restrictive apposition, because it works nominally. Okay? Now, in this other example that he had gone through, or well, he had gone through, okay, can we do away with the events was to concentrate in class after he had gone through? No way.
Yeah.
Okay, right? Because you need the noun events. So he had gone through is a post modifier to the events. Let me go for the analysis here. Okay. All of this is a post modifier. It's a defining relative clause with angular brackets, within which he is the subject, pronominal phrase, head, pronoun. The rest is a predicate, which is a verbal phrase. The head of the predicate is
Account.
which, yes, a gone through, which is a
verb group.
Yes. Why a verbal group? Yes. Why?
Because of the auxiliary, right?
Because of the auxiliary. Had is an auxiliary for the
perfective aspect.
Then, gone through is the head of the verbal group, and it's a
gone would be the head verb and through the adverbial particle.
In this case, wouldn't it be an intransitive phrasal verb?
No.
Phrasal transitive verb?
No.
Prepositional verb?
It's a prepositional verb. Please go back to pages 149 to 152 in the book. You have way too many examples there. Okay. Within this prepositional verb, through is a particle which is not an adverb but a preposition. But the point is that if we do have a preposition, we need to have a
direct object,
which is
the gap.
That's right. Okay. Can you follow?
Jose?
Yes.
Why not phrasal verb going through?
What kind of phrasal verb? Transitive or intransitive? Phrasal verbs can be either transitive or intransitive. What do you think of this one?
Transitive.
Transitive. Okay. Now, the difference between a prepositional verb and a transitive phrasal verb is that in the case of the prepositional verb, it's inseparable. You cannot insert the do in between them. You need to go to say, have gone through them. You cannot say, have gone them through. Okay? If you can insert the do in between, then you will have a transitive phrasal verb. Okay?
Jose,
Yes.
when within inside the
Here under gone, you mean?
The gone, yes, because in the book we have main verb or something like that.
If you do write down main verb, okay, that's okay.
Head main verb. And,
okay.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, if you stick to literally to what the book says, you know, and a minute.
We lost you.
Okay, no, not here. Sorry. If we do write down head main verb, okay, that's one possibility. The other possibility is, you know, go for a simpler version and don't write down anything at all here. Because what I don't want you to write down here is, for example, IV or
yes,
TV.
But because the whole construction is go through is a prepositional verb.
Absolutely. So that's impossible. Okay. So, you know, one way to make it simpler in both the phrasals and the prepositional ones, okay, there's no write down anything. I mean, if you do write down main verb, fantastic, okay? But please not TV or not IV, okay? Because the whole thing goes through is a unit, which happens to be either transitive or intransitive, okay?
Yes,
right?
That's clear.
Any other questions there?
Yes, I have a question. The direct object, even though it is a gap, it's making reference to the events.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Okay.
Events is after the clause. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes. It always makes reference to the antecedent. Always. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Well, how do you feel now? In general terms.
Fine.
Fine.
I'm starting to understand many things. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
I need to
Much
sit down
better.
and digest. I need to digest it to internalize
Same.
it.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed.
Well, okay.
I feel
Let me tell you my concern. Okay, good of you, because I see that you are kind of improving a lot. I mean, because out of all of the questions that, for example, you put to me today, for example, all of them are very interesting questions. Okay, But let me be honest, okay? What day is today? 11th of June. And something is kind of approaching, or not? All right. I don't know what to tell you. I wish it didn't, but you know, such is life. Okay. And I feel that we're a bit too slow even today. Okay. All right. So we'll need to do something about it because, well, talking about exams, when do you think we'll have it?
After extract 4.
After
No,
four?
I don't know. I
agree with her.
I think that we need to practice more assignments to, you know, to get
Okay.
ready.
Yes, I do agree with you that you need to practice a lot. Okay.
Yeah. I would say, I don't
Tatiana,
know, on the 2nd of July or on the 9th, because that's 3 or 4 weeks from now.
The 9th of July is a holiday.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
the 9th is a holiday.
So
No,
the second,
I think we should keep on with some
Well,
practice.
you know what? what we can do is, you know, the latest day would be the very last Friday before the winter holidays.
Sorry,
Okay,
Jose,
this is
when are the winter holidays?
well, that's the problem. Who knows? Because so
They
far,
are in the schedule. I will check the schedule and I will copy paste it.
but the problem is probably what about if they happen to be anticipated to move forward? Okay, who knows? So, you know, so theoretically it should be the 16th of July originally. In the original schedule, this was the very last day. But the problem is that, first of all, the 9th is a holiday. And then if they happen to anticipate, you know, all of this, then we should have it on the 2nd. Okay? So kind of be ready for you to have it on the 2nd. Then, if nothing changes, okay, we'll have it on the very last day before the winter holidays. Right?
That would be better because we have 15 days to practice.
Yes, okay. But the problem is that, well, you need to be aware of what happens because that will not depend on us, okay? And probably, you know, things change, you know, all together, you know, overnight, okay? And what about if they tell us, you know, next week or I don't know, in 2 weeks' time, you know, who knows?
Can we do it? Can we do it manually and take a picture?
You will have to. You will have to do it manually. Yes, you will have
Okay,
to do
because I thought
pictures.
that perhaps someone do, because I don't know, a Google Doc with tables and all that.
No, you will have to do it manually. Okay. The text, you will have an extract to analyze. Okay. For example, have you timed your verbs? Have you considered how long it takes you to analyze an extract?
Hour and a half, more or less.
An extract or a sentence of the extract?
An extract. No, an extract.
The whole extract.
No, that's more.
No, that's a lot. A few hours, I think.
You need to gather speed. You need to gather much more speed and then do it in not more than an hour. Okay? right?
Why is it? Why don't we have one?
Because there will be, apart from this, there will be some part on the theory, okay? You need to do it like pre-modifier, head noun, post-modifier, kind of quickly, okay? You need to speed up a bit, okay? You get that with some training, okay?
Can
Probably.
you specify, sorry, so can you specify on what will go for the theory later? Doesn't have to be now.
Yes, I can tell you now. Everything.
Okay. Well,
all of the book. Yes. All of the book. Everything. All of my book, I mean. Okay. Right. Absolutely everything. Okay. Meaning typical questions. For example, Julieta, you remember the typical question that I asked you last year?
From theory.
Yes. Yes.
Well, for example, what categories can a subjective complement be? The things that we discussed today, the type of noun clauses, etc.
All of the possible functions of noun clauses. What is the difference between a defining relative clause that is got and one that is gapless? The difference between a restricted apposition and a post-modifier. Let's say, what is the middle verb? What are the, let's say, features of actions? What are the, well, basically, things like those. How many types of noun clauses you have? How many types of, how many are the possible categories for the subject? What is details that you can apply for the direct object? What is details that you can apply for the indirect object? And what are the features of the indirect object? What
all
is the
this
difference between
for this midterm exam or for the final, you mean?
Absolutely, yes.
No, but absolutely for both?
For the first midterm exam, yes.
What have you said about the defining clauses? What was the question that you just said? What was the question that you just said about the clauses, defining clauses, or something like that? You were, I couldn't quite get that.
Between the gapped and gapless. Between the gapped and gapless clauses.
Okay. That gap and gapless. Okay.
Yes. Very frequently, I go for, how many possible or whatever, functions for whatever, for how many are the possible categories for whatever. Okay, how many are the types of whatever, especially when the answer is like 2, 3, 4, 5, eventually, for example, 8 in one of them is the answer, but no more than that. And I also asked you to make contrasts between this and that, between this and that, between this and that, and so on and so forth. Okay. So
how many questions are there in the exam?
A couple of questions. Just a couple of questions.
Two.
Just a couple of questions. Yes, just a couple of questions. That will do. Okay.
What's the minimum mark to pass the test?
4. And then
is there a mock exam after that?
Sorry,
is there a makeup exam?
Makeup at the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay. Makeup at the end of the year.
I'm thinking, how about if you send us the key of some of the extracts so we can practice at home, maybe not.
Precisely, this is what we thought of with Julieta. Okay. So Julieta today is going, well, today or tomorrow, I don't know when, okay? Let's say, well, probably give them, a couple of days for them to have done them beforehand.
Yeah.
Okay, right? Because I guess that you, start to work a bit harder, okay, right? Well, And probably on extracts 4 and 5, or probably even this 3, this other part of extract 3. Why? Because next week what we will do is correct extract 6. Next week is the 18th. Okay, fine. On the following week, we will correct extract 10. Okay, why is it that I'm interested in extracts 6 and 10? Because they are more grammar 2-like compared to these other things that we have been doing, which are more like revision-like. Okay, right? Extracts 6 and 10 will be grammar 2-like, something like a bit more challenging, similar to what you will have in the exam. Okay, right? Okay, so get down to work. Okay, next week we correct extract 6. Okay, right? Later we'll send you the key to extracts 3, 4, and 5 for you to do them and correct them, and eventually we'll go for some other questions that you may still have on them. Okay, and we will see the idea is to correct extract 6 next week, because you will see that this is kind of a step upwards compared to the things that we've seen so far. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Is it possible to promocionar this year?
That's another issue. You know, the problem is that we are more than 20. Okay. To tell you the truth, I think I will find a way for you to, so go for an, let's say be happy with just a miserable 4 or 5, meaning try to go for a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or something, and then we'll see what we can do. Okay. Officially, let's say if we are more than 20, there should be no promotion, but we still can find
This
a
is
way.
something that happens only in the English
Yes,
department
they
area.
changed it because
Yes.
2 years ago it was 25, I think.
Yes, but
I know we are not.
In other careers, this doesn't happen. So.
Yes.
I won't say anything if you don't say anything. I mean,
I didn't know that this didn't happen in the other
Yes,
training courses.
I don't know, when I attended a subject in a different career
yes.
department,
Yes.
I asked this to the teacher, and the teacher laughed at this silly thing that we have to be 20.
This stupid fucking thing that the has, okay? Because no, come on, solo my words, okay. Well, never mind. But you know what my opinion is.
I have another question.
Okay. Tell me.
So I assume, yes, for the exam, we will have the sentence or the extract, and we will do it on a sheet of paper. Then we take a picture and send it. For the theory, first, will it be sent before, afterwards? Will it be written orally? How will it be?
Well, at least one part will be oral. Okay. Probably one of the questions will be written. Okay. Probably one of the questions will be a contrast between X and Y, as long as everybody comes along with examples of your own, mean not copied examples from each other, okay, or not the examples that are given you, okay, right? So, for example, the one thing that we've mentioned today between the restrictive opposition and the post-modifier, okay, you see the examples that Marlena came up with, okay, of course, think of your own examples, okay, this could have been, you know, one of the typical, let's say, one of the typical questions. There are some others within my top 5 list, I would say.
Okay, I ask because if we are going to do the oral part, we need to have another platform for us to divide, right? Because we are.
Yeah, exactly. Probably we will do it, you know, we will start to meet, okay? Because probably as some people finish with this exam, we'll have in a parallel session, okay, the oral exam, okay, the oral component, okay? But then we'll see, okay? What else? Well, any other things? Questions, comments, suggestions, complaints?
I hope winter holidays won't change.
Me too, you know, me too. But because after the winter holidays, we pass on to something kind of completely different. Okay? All right? But I need you to understand this very well. Okay? So let's see. Come on, you still have supposedly one month to go. Okay? But you need to do something about it. You need to work.
3 weeks. 3 weeks, not a month.
3 weeks? Okay, well, 3 weeks. Okay, yes. Okay, well, let's see what we can do. So remember, for next week, extract 6. Okay, do the others that Julieta will send you, and eventually you can come and ask me, you know, or her, you know, any questions. Okay, right? Is it clear? By then, you will have well acquainted with the conventions. Okay, I guess, right? So careful with them. Okay. Well, so come on, don't get desperate. You are the Joaquin, so you can do it. Come on. Okay. So see you on Friday.
See you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
See you.
Bye.